Wyslouch here. Welcome to Quick Tips. I'm offering private lessons. Send me an email if you want to sign up for private lessons. If you like these videos and want to support the making of them, become a patron on my Patreon page. You get access to Patreon exclusive workshops every month. You get access to supplemental materials. And you get access to all 130 quick tips, which are not available to the general public. Today we're going to explore some Andy Statman language and see how it could help us explore some other interesting sounds that we've been looking at recently. Check this out on the beginning of Andy Statman's solo on Brown County Breakdown. This is the lick that he begins with. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is so cool. So for starters, what's he playing against? It's Brown County Breakdown, a 3-part tune. The A part just hangs out in E. A Brown County Breakdown could be a great place to explore some really interesting flavors that relate to our home base of E. Different modes, different note choices. First off, it's a series of quarter note triplets. That alone could be really interesting ground to explore. Playing quarter note triplets in your bluegrass breaks. What's a quarter note triplet? For every 2 quarter notes that occur, boom, chuck, there will be 3 notes melodically played. Boom, chuck, triplet, 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 triplet. You don't hear that very often, and the use of that rhythmic tool already makes some really interesting tension between the band and Andy Statman's solo. Now let's look at the actual note choice. He starts off by going G sharp, D, G, G sharp, then F sharp, G sharp, C, B flat, F sharp, G sharp, E, F sharp, then back to a G, G sharp, D, G, G sharp, G sharp, D, G, G sharp, and then a double stop, G sharp and an F sharp. So what are all these notes? Well, the first 4 notes, they happen to all be a part of our E half-whole octatonic scale, a G sharp, D, G, and G sharp. Interesting. Then he goes into F sharp, G sharp, C, B flat, F sharp, G sharp, E, F sharp. What's that? Those are all part of the E whole tone scale, which we explored in quick tip 129. Then the next 9 notes are all just part of that half-whole octatonic scale. And then he jumps up to a double stop, G sharp and F sharp. Those 2 notes, G sharp and F sharp, both pertain to our E whole tone scale. So in terms of note choice, I'm kind of analyzing this Andy Statman line as him weaving between these 2 really interesting outside-the-box colors, half-whole octatonic and whole tone scale. Was he thinking that exactly when he improvised this? Maybe. Probably not. He's probably just checked out these sounds so much that they're slowly kind of leaking into his playing in creative, interesting ways. But now, a window is opened up. We can take a Bill Monroe tune like Brown County Breakdown and explore sounds like half-whole octatonic and whole tone. So let's just look at 5 notes that pertain to the half-whole octatonic. Right in the middle of the line, he plays G, G sharp, D, G, G sharp. Amazing. I like that shape and I like that flavor, so I want to explore it a little more. So we could break this down intervallically. What's going on here? We start on a note G. Up a half step, up a tritone, up a perfect 4th, up a half step. Now let's use that exact algorithm and experiment. Let's start on a note a minor 3rd above. Instead of starting on the G, we're going to start on the B flat. We're going to do the same thing. Up a half step, up a tritone, up a 4th, up a half step. B flat, B, F, B flat, B. Hey, that's all part of the same E half-whole octatonic scale. Let's keep experimenting. Let's go up a minor third from B flat. C sharp. Up a half step to D. Up a tritone to G sharp. Up a fourth to C sharp. And up a half step to D. Hey, that's all part of the half-whole octatonic too. So the exact same intervallic algorithm moved up in minor thirds will actually produce different notes of the half-whole octatonic scale, but it has this kind of symmetrical feeling because it's all the same exact intervallic patterns. And the last one, before it loops again, would be going up a minor third from that C sharp up to an E. We'll displace the octave because to stay in position. E, up a half step to F, up a tritone to B, up a fourth to E, and then up a half step to F. Amazing. And if we move it up another minor third, we end up back where we started at the G. So, what do I get out of this? If I find a group of notes that pertains to a half-whole octatonic scale, and I like the way it sounds, I can move that group of notes, those sets of intervals, up and down minor thirds, and those new notes that will be produced will pertain to that same half-whole octatonic scale. So now instead of just running a half-whole octatonic scale up and down, I could have, for example, an interesting etude. And that's my final point here. Andy Statman opened up this world for us. He showed us some interesting notes that pertain to a half-whole octatonic scale. Now I'm going to create an etude for myself to get more familiar with the half-whole octatonic scale. So I play our melodic cell. Then I'm going to move it up and down in minor thirds in rhythm. Top of the position, so I'm going to come down now. Keep going down. Each little melodic cell, even though it has the same exact intervals, by staying in one position between frets 7 and 10, forces me to find 4 different fingerings for that same melodic cell. On the guitar, you could do it in a much more basic way, where you just take one cell, for example, on the string set DGB, and just move it up 3 frets. That would be kind of a quick, easy way to integrate these weird sounds without having to do too much brain work. Keeping it in position will make the etude significantly harder. So we could think of this as a structural exercise, just getting more familiar with the half-whole octatonic scale. You could use Brown County Breakdown as a sort of playground for this, particularly the A part, and you could practice eighth note flow, kind of like the creative scale practice I talk about in quick tip number 115, and just move it around and see if you can integrate these little melodic cells slowly, maybe as quarter note triplets, and if you're feeling brave, try eighth notes, and just start getting a feeling for it. I guarantee if you commit to this for a month or so with a really rigorous structural exercise, different parts of the neck, stay in one key, with some improvisation, some of these new interesting half-whole sounds will appear without you necessarily having to just run the scale up and down like a robot. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure to become a patron on my Patreon page. Get access to Patreon exclusive workshops and the tab for this amazing Andy Statman solo. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.